everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name's Amy, and I'm glad you decided to join me for chapter 72 of the book that I wrote, Legends Orbs of the Elements. As always, if you are interested in picking up this book for yourself, or for a colleague, a friend, family member, or anybody else that you know that likes fantasy and adventure, I will leave all that information at the end of the video. Also, check out my cool background. I got it all decked out for Valentine's Day. I also have Kate and Anthony Bridgerton, because I think they are an awesome couple. I have Cinderella here. I've got some power couples here. Pongo and Purdy, Beauty and the Beast. Over here, I have, who else do I have? I have my Bridgerton Funko Pops, Daphne, and the other guy, Simon. Sorry, it's been a while since season 1. I have my Rapunzel and Flynn collectible. I have peanut butter and jelly. I have a Garfield heart mailbox for Valentine's. And of course, my newest addition, my cute little Cupid bear that I made with my mom. I'll also show you some more background later. Like I said, I am going to be making a reel showing my background in more detail, but that is not why you guys are here. Let's just jump right back into this adventure. Chapter 72. The light brown grass blew to and fro softly like waves upon the sand. Rain came down steadily. Leon breathed in deeply, smelling the cold, clean air with hints of grass. He was home. It did his heart good to scan the wide open spaces of the plains again. Leon paused for a time, surveying the landscape. Nothing had changed since his departure many long months ago. Castilia waited for a few paces behind Leon. She understood what coming home must mean for him. He would have to tell his mother that her husband was dead. Castilia's horse had an average-sized cart carrying John's body. John was wrapped in blankets to protect himself from the weather. Leon got off his horse to lead it. He stroked its neck and muzzle fondly. "Do you ever think we'd see home again, my friend?" Leon asked his horse. The steed tossed his head and whinnied while displaying eagerness and alertness more than usual. Castilia now swung her leg out and dismounted her horse like Leon. The two looked over the land silently. She nudged her friend. "Are we just going to stand here, or are we going to go home?" Leon snickered to her and nudged her right back. "What? Don't like the weather?" She angled her head upward and closed her eyes, enjoying the liquid sunshine. Without warning, Leon began running with his horse in tow. Castilia watched in shock for a moment. Then, Leon realized she wasn't following. He turned and called out, slightly out of breath, "Well, what are you waiting for?" With that, he continued running until he heard off in the distance footsteps and horses' hooves not far behind. June was bending over, picking the harvest, when she heard a familiar sound. No, it couldn't be. She stood erect and peered out in the rain still coming down. Suddenly, a beautiful chestnut horse came thundering past her, kicking up mud and gravel. The horse looked impossible. A figure of a young man came into sight. June dropped everything and took off to meet him. He was dismounting and stroking his horse's neck tenderly. She gasped at the sight of him. She hugged and kissed him multiple times. My boy, you're back! Thank the elements! She held his face in her hands in a motherly type of gesture. Where's the legend? You didn't let her die, did you? What did I tell you? Always protect your friends. Her voice had trailed off into a scolding, teasing manner. At that moment, Castilia came into view. June then came to her side and kissed her on her forehead. Castilia politely gave her legend's greeting by putting both hands palm to palm together like one in prayer, while simultaneously giving a small bow. As she was straightening up, she took her hands away and answered, I'm all right. I'm all right, June of the Western Plains. Your son protected me. And then some. Leon then interrupted. We protected each other, if I recall right. Castilia gave a faint nod. Where's your father? Surely you found him, June inquired, looking off in the distance as she was expecting him to draw near to them. Castilia lowered her head, but didn't attempt to make any reply. Leon took his mother's hand and led her to the cart. June immediately broke into fits of tears. She turned into Leon's strong, loving arms and wept. He spoke to her with great care, and his voice was filled with empathy for her loss. There, mother. He did not die in vain. He fought bravely to the end. When June could cry no more, she gazed up into her son's eyes and asked in a shaking, broken-hearted voice, Who killed him? I hope that he suffered a great death with no mercy. Her last few words were bitter and cold, with no feeling. Both June and Castilia stole a glance at each other. Castilia touched June's back softly. She opened her mouth like she was about to explain what had happened when Leon cut in. Mother, no one is to blame but Nero. He used black magic and took his life. June shuddered at this news and used her apron to wipe fresh tears that had sprung from her eyes. The three stood there for a few moments to let June collect herself. Come, I'm sure that you both must be hungry after such a long journey. Come warm up by the fire. Leon nodded for the legend to follow. June headed into the house first. Leon was about to follow when Castilia caught his arm. He looked at her. Castilia took something out of the saddlebag. It was shaped like a book. Here, this is for you. Leon took the book. It was a soft leather bound with leaves pressed into the cover of the book. It had gold lettering that Leon couldn't make out, but knew it was Elvish. I don't understand. Castilia smiled. I know. Nickeltora could tell how much you wanted to see the elves, so he figured you should try to learn how to speak their language first before diving headlong into their culture. Castilia explained. Leon ran his hand over the front cover of the book. Sounds like something Starland would say. They both chuckled. Yes, in fact, you may not believe this, my friend, but it was he that the first person. Yes, in fact, you may not believe this, my friend, but he was the first person to say that. Excuse me. Leon wanted to say more, but they heard June's voice calling them both to come in out of the rain. Leon encouraged Castilia to go inside first, while he took care of the horses before entering the house. He took both the reins of each horse in his hand and led them to a small stable where he would bed them down. He set to work removing their tack. Each horse seemed relieved to not be wearing their tack. He gave them each their own stall along with plenty of food and water. As he made his way to the house, his mother was was sitting on a chair by the fire, mending what appeared to be one of his shirts. Castilia had removed her traveling cape with a hood and wasn't wearing her boots that were off to the side by the fireplace. Her hands were covering a tankard of something hot. He could tell by the steam coming from the top. He took a deep breath to inhale the aroma. Ah, fresh hot cider. He quickly removed his traveling cape with the attached hood and put it on a coat rack. I trust you haven't guzzled all the hot cider? I'm quite chilled. His mother looked up at him with a scowl upon her face. Leon, how could you say such a hurtful thing? Did you lose your manners in the wilderness? Leon opened his mouth and moved to where he spied more of the hot cider and poured himself a tankard as well before making his way to the two women. Castilia laughed. Don't be harsh on him. He probably picked it up from me. I can be very unladylike at times. Leon came over. I can be very unladylike at times. June reached out and patted Castilia's knees. No worry, dear. I'm sure my son will have to relearn to think before he speaks. Leon came over and gave a half hug to his mother. Thanks for still caring, Ma. She broke her scowl slightly and patted his head. It seems I have to. Otherwise, no young lady will want you. Again, Leon opened his mouth to protest, but it was interrupted by a growl from Castilia's stomach, followed by Leon's. June put her sewing down and put her two hands on her hip. Do you not get enough to eat on your travels? You are probably starved to death. Well, don't fret or lend a hand. I will soon have supper for the both of you. Rest now. In a short time, the house began to smell like mixed cooking spices, roast meat, fish, vegetables, and other freshly baked bread. So that is all the chapter for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a big like, subscribe, share with friends and family. It has been such a journey reading this story out loud to you all. I absolutely love doing it. I hope you are enjoying it. Down in the comments down below, let me know if you would tell... If you were Castilia, would you tell June that her husband died, or would you let Leon tell his mother how he died? I'd love to know. If you are interested in picking up a copy of my book for yourself, it can be found on Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, Apple iBooks, and lots of other places books are sold. It has been such a journey, like I said, and I so enjoy reading it to you guys, and I hope you all enjoy it as well. If you are interested in continuing on with not only this, the story and characters, I have a Facebook page dedicated to all things Legends Orbs of the Elements. I try to write an article Monday through Friday, but I have changed that to once a month, where I talk about the different characters, how I came up with the plot line, different aspects of writing my book, and characters. One of the articles, the first articles I wrote, was how I came up with the names of Leon and Castilia. Another article is about my three baddies, Nero, Rifa, and Blinken. Another article is about the Flyers. Another article, I believe, is about the elves. And I try to keep all those articles as spoiler-free as possible. So since tomorrow is the last day for the book, you probably will not be spoiled, but if you are new to my channel, please go check that out. I think you will find it fun and informative. I also have a Instagram account. where I just post lots of other fun, cool things from my life and different aspects of that. And I also have a TikTok account where I will be sharing more of the sequel to this book. And that sequel will be called Legends 2, Rise of the Soul Collector. I'm currently editing it right now, and I'm well on my way, so I'm so excited for that. So please go find me on other social media. So yeah, like I said before, thank you all for watching, and as they say in my book, may the elements protect you, and I will see you guys tomorrow for the last chapter. Oh, how bittersweet. See you tomorrow, everybody.